It's 2050. The world population is near 10 billion. Our resources are limited, and steak is now only reserved for the wealthy. How did we get here? Was there a way to prevent this?
Everyone needs food. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization estimates that by 2050, agricultural systems will not be able to supply enough food to feed everyone.
The world we live in today is advancing rapidly, and our population is growing, and it's placing a lot of challenges on the limited resources that we have. And so producers are going to have to find more efficient ways to provide an adequate amount of food for a growing global population.
But over the next 50 years, we'll face new and significantly different problems.
With the population rising, based on past history, based on how many's being born now, et cetera, can we provide that food? It's scary because we may not be able to, especially with this pandemic. If those things continue to occur and we cannot provide food, then we'll have a malnourished country and world.
As more and more people are born, more and more people will need food. It's a simple idea, yet in practice, it proves to be a challenging task.
You know, if you just think about it a little bit, will we ever run out of land for farming? We're not making any more. And as we make more people, we tend to sacrifice a lot of agricultural production.
One of our biggest problems here, besides the development of it, is water. And humans are big consumers of water and food. And so a lot of the really good land is already developed. We have some that could be developed, but a lot of regulations are stopping that.
If we, as a world, are going to fight this, our food must adapt.
We'll face the need to adapt our crop production.
The problem is, not enough money is dedicated by the government to research within this field. Without this funding, we stand little hope of avoiding starvation. And we must find sustainable ways in which our food can be grown, so that the future generations can also eat.
The real issue is, again, Americans have never been hungry before. And when you're not hungry, you don't realize the need for this land and the need to produce food.
There is much debate on how we should proceed in agricultural development. On one hand, some people believe that innovating our current agricultural processes is the best way to feed our tomorrow.
The neat thing is that we're coming up with other ways to produce food.
I don't have a crystal ball, but if you look forward in the next 50 years, we might see the biggest changes to plant agriculture structures. And I think indoor farming is going to become a bigger issue. I think that aquaponics, robotics in plant production, I think that may be poised for the largest amount of technological gain in the next few years.
But others believe that the development of artificial protein sources is the future.
They're not making any more land. Our stocking rates for our livestock is not going to increase. So how do we meet the protein needs? How do we meet the food needs if we can't produce more livestock and we have 30% more people by 2050? So we were looking at plant protein and what new products can we make that will have the nutritional value so people are not malnutrition.
Both of these plans have their pros and cons, and neither is perfect.
There's no single answer. One needs to put the research efforts into a wide portfolio because it's not clear which will be most successful. There's certainly room to improve current agriculture. There are certainly the new opportunities in areas like insects, genetic modification, alternate methods of food preservation, better use of the total harvest, preventing waste. It goes on, and we need to have a robust global effort across all of these different areas. Putting too much of your risk into one pot makes no sense.
So how can we help?
I think the big challenge in front of us regarding consumers is to be able to close the information gap between what is about agriculture and what is perceived about agriculture. We've got a growing global challenge that's not that far away. I might not make 2050, but you guys will. you'll see the day where we're struggling to make sure every person has enough protein in order to have a viable life.
The best way to help our future is to support federal programs that promote agricultural innovation.
The supply chain of food is highly, highly important. At the same time, all of those things can be derailed by government legislation. And that's what scares me, is what politics are there, and it becomes politics instead of what's right.
Care about the future, care about your planet.
The most important thing that can be done is to allocate more money towards agricultural research in the Farm Bill. The Farm Bill is a budgeting plan released by the U.S. government every 4 years. We must advocate for more funding to be put towards this vital research within the Farm Bill. With more funding and resources put into research, we can innovate new ways to feed our tomorrow.